Sagittarius, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. Happy day. We are in the middle of Taurus season. Not yet, Deborah. We're in the middle of Taurus season. We just had a new moon in Taurus. There's a lot going on. I mean, thankfully, like the transits in the astrology have definitely quieted down, but we're still feeling the reverberations, the effects of everything. We've been seeing this fire element highlight as planets are moving into Aries. We just came out of Aries season, but Aries season was pretty emotional. It was really stirring the pot, looking at people, situations, relationships, dynamics that really aren't working for us, and forcing us to make changes accordingly. Or if we're not making changes, then changes are being made for us. So, it's been a little bit intense, but good. You know, there is this underlying theme of freedom, right? Like we're actually moving away from the BS. As much as there's hurt, pain, upset, etc., it doesn't feel great. It never feels great to go through the heavier stuff. But like I said, it really is catering towards our freedom and aligning us more with what we want, what we're going after in life, how we want to draw in that abundance. But it's not an easy path, right? That's why I like to start off with these energy cleansings, just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, obstacles we may be coming into. It's also a great time, Sagittarius, to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how things are faring, where they're headed, or if you're just looking for more of a realignment of self, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're operating from that space of alignment, when we feel good, grounded in ourselves, we know ourselves, right? And then we're actually making choices that fit for us, that aren't just the quick fixes or, you know, the things that are going to fizzle out eventually. So yeah, definitely hit me up. Sorry, I feel a little funny today. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius, let's get into this. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, Mama Love. Very smoky today, Sagittarius. Clearing out some stuff, right? Getting rid of the old, maybe doing some spring cleaning right now. The energy, like I said, it's been a little bit heavy, like almost like energy depletion, needing a refuel or just a reset. A lot of this is because where we are kind of plugging energy, time, and tension into, Mars is being tensely aspected by Pluto, meaning it's resistant to the change. It's resistant to the change, whether that's coming from within us or our environment around us. You're having a hard time to seeing someone or something clearly this week. I don't know. I feel like you're second guessing a choice that you made. Yeah. Like it looks like something was working out really well for you, Sagittarius. And it was something that like was maybe quote unquote exactly what you wanted, maybe there were some holes somewhere along the line, because it looks like either you've stopped pursuing this thing or like you're starting to feel a little bit hesitant. And with this clouds in your overarching energy, it really talks about how it's hard to see things clearly. There might be some illusions. There might be something else happening like in the background, or, you know, whether it's what you're thinking, feeling, fears, etc., that's kind of playing out, that's making you take a few steps back. So Neptune is in Aries right now. Neptune is all about like our spiritual energy, our intuition, trusting and knowing. And that's the lesson with Neptune, is actually believing ourselves, right? But I feel like, I don't know, maybe you're afraid is what I'm hearing. You're afraid of who or what someone is. I don't know where this is coming from, whether you got bad information, whether they said something you didn't like, or they're like not acting exactly how you thought they were going to, or something about this is off, but it definitely looks like you've pulled back. However, there's something around this that you're not seeing. Virgo had a really similar energy. You could be dealing with a Virgo. You could have Virgo placements yourself. You don't necessarily have to. Maybe you're just moving or dealing with someone who moves a little bit slower than you. Earth energy is slow. And you do actually have a lot of earth energy on the board, meaning it is important to slow down. That's like a message for the whole collective right now. Because of the way Mars is aspected, it's not a stop, it's not a standstill, but it's like slow your roll essentially. And I don't know, like you just are not trusting someone. You're not trusting someone. I feel like this is coming from being badly burned in the past. People, situations that maybe have kind of taken advantage of you. Whenever we're in those spaces, it's really hard to see other people, situations clearly, right? Because we're still kind of reverberating from that trauma of like when people screw us over or lie to our face or whatever, right? And it looks like you're taking a complete fresh start, but you're like, you know what? I'd rather be focused on myself, or I'd rather trust myself, my instincts, my decision-making skills more than anyone else's at this point. And I feel like in some ways that's why you're kind of backing off on someone. I don't know, maybe because like you're just, like I said, there's a lack of trust. It's like you were really excited, really gung-ho, and then you're like, oh, wait a second, let me pump the brakes on this. And but it is also saying there's something around this that you're not seeing the value of, right? Like there's something around this that like, I feel like you have something good. You have something good and you're like, okay, well now let me go find something else. And it's actually making things a little bit more stressful. And then especially if it's like affecting, if you live with people, your home environment, family, etc., or just within yourself, it's this lack of stability is what I'm hearing. Because you are assuming this burden. You're putting this burden all on yourself. And I feel like, and I think this was a little bit in your reading, right? Like last week, don't let pride get in the way. This has that, not that you feel prideful this week, but I feel like you're just like, well, I got to do this. If this feels off, then I'm going to get away from it before it gets too messy, before it gets too bad. And I don't know, like you're just, let's see. It looks like whatever you're dealing with is waiting patiently for you, but they're running out of patience is what I'm seeing. They're running out of patience, or there is going to be something like short-lived in this exchange. And it almost looks like it's confirming like what you're afraid of. Not that I necessarily see this person like doing you wrong per se, Sagittarius, but I feel like I said, they're running out of patience. It looks like they can only hold for so much longer. And then either this opportunity is not going to be there, or, something actively is getting in the way this week of you seeing the value of what this is. Again, if this is something that's toxic, or like people are doing toxic behaviors or whatever. Keep yourself safe, obviously. Like I'm never saying to go back into situations if it feels off, if it's like, but this is the kind of thing where it's almost like you're making it like, let me slow down. This is the thing where you're like making it into an issue when there's not really an issue there. Like it might just be petty things like, oh, they said this or they did that or whatever. It might be really, really simple things that are like, yeah, maybe, but not really, you know? And again, a lot of times when we're not really quite sure who and what it is, it's easy to go down that road of being a little bit more negative, fear-based, because there's like been a lot going on in the astrology. It's hard not to expect the worst. But like I said, like there does feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect. Yeah, like it looks like both people are taking a step back. Both parties are taking a step back to kind of focus on themselves, do their own thing, do their own healing, right? Like it's important for you to have this strong foundation under yourself, Sagittarius, before you go back into the world, because you're really working towards and building towards happy home, happy environment, feeling stable, creating something, whether that's legacy, something you can pass down, or it's just like that feeling of like overall abundance in who you are and your livelihood. But like I said, it's whether you were getting, like you and, well, I don't know, this is Queen of Wands, so a lot of this, whatever this is, it's up to you. You are the one that's going to be making decisions about how this moves forward. And with this Fox energy, actually, let me clarify this for you before I do with this Fox energy, like I said, it just doesn't look like you're trusting someone or something. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think this is with the happy squirrel, I love that guy. It's definitely a spiritual lesson on maybe how we sometimes self-protect in a bad way, right? Like when, again, we don't have all the answers. When we do have to rely on our instincts, that's kind of the hard thing about Neptune being in Aries. It was in Pisces for so long, which gave so much of this, so much cloudiness and confusion, like picking up things that were very acutely with your intuition, but then also picking up things that were just kind of like far-fetched and more fear, anxiety based. So we really had to kind of decipher and are still trying to decipher between the two right now with Neptune being in Aries. But again, it's the beginning stages of you learning to trust yourself in a more grounded, solid way. And you're not quite doing that because there is some fear coming through. It's fear coming through about protecting yourself again, or you know what? Maybe you're just not ready. Maybe you're not ready to open up the door to certain people and situations because you are, well, both, like I said, both of you are very much in this healing energy, which I think is important. I think it's necessary. It's better to move a little bit slower, like I was saying, because we're sifting between like the good and the bad essentially right now, you know, what feels like really overwhelming, what feels toxic. And so we have to be very clear about what that is. I love that this teamwork card came out for you though, because this is definitely that underlying theme that there is a way to work together. And I'm a huge proponent that like when you're feeling like something's off, ask a question, you know? Not everyone is out to do us wrong. Sometimes people just communicate in different ways. They're just different types of people, but they don't necessarily mean any ill will, you know? And that's where I feel like maybe you need to ask, maybe you need to investigate a little bit more, find out a little more information. Yeah, you might be hurt and sad. Like this Four of Cups can be a little bit of a depressed energy. I'm hearing like despondent, like maybe you just don't have the emotional capacity to go there right now. And that's why you're holding off, which is totally fine. But then give yourself a little bit of space to not make any judgments about what this is until you can find out more information, right? Don't just, you know, sell it short. Don't cut it off. I mean, you can do whatever you want, obviously. But my point is try not to cut it off before you have all the pieces, all the information that you need. Not everything is as it seems, i.e. Pluto tensely aspected to Black Moon Lilith. That is where small signs, I love it. That's where it is, trusting in the process. There is a gift here, and that's what Spirit wants you to uncover. But at the same time, try not to be too judgmental, right? Try not to be too judgmental on the situation, on the person. If you needed to take a break, right? But don't let it be like a final point, because I think there's more to this story. I think there's more to this story that's unraveling. So to be continued. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I super appreciate your time, energy, always. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Know I'm sending it back your way.